and welcome to today. Today, we're going to be talking all about things that help with that new year energy and achieving goals in a way that can feel really good to you. So, I have been a guest guide with Self Care Society, this incredible community of women that is run by Danica Brescia, a plus size model and a founder and owner of Model Meals. And it's been such a pleasure to work with them. And I was doing for a class for them earlier this week, and I wanted to bring some of the concepts that we talked about during that class to the podcast today. So what I was mostly focused on during the class was about how commitment creates freedom. Now, when I talk to a lot of people, they will tell me that they feel pinned down by schedules, that if they put something in a schedule and then they have to do that thing, then they don't want to do it and it doesn't feel really good. And so they just don't schedule anything at all. And what I want to hopefully create for you today is this freedom to commit to what you actually want to do and to understand that most of your life is running out of commitments that you've made either intentionally or unintentionally. So to help examine what is it that you have unintentionally being committed to, and what do you want to commit to on purpose at the beginning of 2024? So the first thing I have for you is a quote. This one's from Deepak Chopra, and it says, "Commitment is the ultimate assertion of human freedom. It releases all the energy you possess and enables you to take quantum leaps in creativity. When you set a one-pointed intention and absolutely refuse to allow obstacles to dissipate the focused quality of your attention, you engage the infinite organizing power of the universe." And just going back to that, commitment is the ultimate assertion of human freedom. Because there's so many things that we use our energy on, that we exert our energy on. If you experience chronic fatigue, there's a lot of times when you are exerting a lot of energy to handle the symptoms that are coming up, especially that fatigue. It's a really energy taxing nervous system state to be in, that freeze, that collapse. So when you learn how to free up that energy, it helps you to be able to create some really cool stuff in your life, and it can help to create the freedom to create what you want on purpose, okay? The second quote I found about this is from Michael Rosen, and he says, "Commitment is not a barrier to freedom. Commitment is the exercise of freedom, the act of making a choice or decision and meaning it. The one without the other is meaningless." So that's what I want you to think about right now. What have you been committing to already throughout this past week, throughout this past month, throughout last year? What were you committed to? What are the things that you were doing over and over again on repeat? So it could be things that you really loved and things that you maybe didn't love so much. For example, I talked about how over the past the past few days, I've been really committed to starting my day with a guided meditation, an abundance meditation, to prayer and scripture study. Those are things that I have committed to. And because I've committed to those, it's created the freedom throughout the day that I feel more stillness in my body. I feel more aligned with my desires because I'm starting it with a meditation, with God's word, and not with just scrolling social media, which I still do, and having other people's agendas be the first thing that I see in the morning. So it's created freedom from self-judgment for me. It's created the freedom of aligning with what I truly want in my life. I've been making sure that I am planning out what I want to eat throughout the day and staying aligned with that, asking my body, what is it that I want? What do you want to eat? What do you want to let go of? What do you want more of? What do you want less of? And I noticed that I wasn't following my plan how I wanted to, like for a couple days this week. Okay, so I'm committed to not following the plan right now, but actually committing to that, to making the decision. That is going to offer me freedom. I had a coaching call I was listening to this week, and the coach was saying, she was like, I really like when I do these juice cleanses, which I don't love juice cleanses, so don't come at me. It's not what I'm not promoting them. But what she said about it was that I love when I'm doing a juice cleanse because all of the decisions are already made for me ahead of time. I just know that I go to my fridge, I pick up the juice, and I drink the juice. I don't have any drama about what I'm going to eat and what I'm not going to eat because during that time, I'm committed to what I'm going to do with my body. So how much freedom does she have in her time and in her energy because she's made a commitment and there's just no second guessing. There's none of the spinning in your head about what should I do? What should I not do? None of the second guessing. Okay. So once you have started to see some of the patterns that are going on in your life, might be time to start to call in some clarity. Okay. So I invite you to think about where do you want some support in calling in commitments for the goals or intentions or areas of focus that you have this year. So some things that I thought about was I want to call in support in filling out my planner and making decisions ahead of time for today and for the rest of my week. I want to call in support in following what I've planned to eat. So if you're on the YouTube channel, you can see behind me, I have this little triangle. And in the coaching world, we call this the motivational triad. The words that are closest to the triangle is the motivational triad. This is why we do what we do. Our brains are always trying to keep us safe by doing three things. The first one is avoiding pain. The second is seeking pleasure. And the third is conserving energy. So if you're finding something that you're committed to, it's probably because your brain has decided this thing is safe and we haven't died from doing this yet. So we're just going to keep doing it the same way that we've been doing it because it's going to help us conserve energy, avoid pain, and seek pleasure. Sounds fun. So if you're doing something that you don't want to be doing, the way to unravel that pattern is to look at the opposites of the motivational triad. So if our brains are trying to help us to conserve energy, then we can flip that. And if I want to create something new, if I want to call in some new habit, some new intention, I'm going to make it really easy. And since my brain automatically wants to avoid pain, I'm going to try to make it fun. And since my brain wants to keep me safe by seeking pleasure, I'm going to make it enjoyable on purpose. So, for example, if I want to call in this new area of following my plans for what I've planned to eat that day, I need to make it easy, fun, and enjoyable. So some ways that I can do that are creating a ritual around it. I have my journal and like having like a little timer that dings to say, okay, make sure that you've done it by this time. That makes it really easy because I know exactly when I'm supposed to do it. Fun, like my planner is really pretty and enjoyable, like thinking about how I'm going to feel at the end of the day if I follow what I've planned, okay? Because we waste so much energy and going back and forth on decisions. I know that I should do this, but I really don't want to in this moment. We can override our primitive brain, this motivational triad that's trying to keep us doing what we've always done, keeping us in the same habits, the same patterns. We can override it by using our prefrontal cortex and doing things to make it a fun thing. Like something that might make it fun for me is I have another friend that's doing this too. We could text each other and hold challenges with each other, whatever. Like whatever it's going to be that's going to be motivating for me, I can start to do that so that it's going to create the freedom that I'm looking for in my life, the freedom from second guessing myself, from not paying attention to what my body's asking for. It's going to create all of that space for wonderful abundance to be filling my life. Okay? After you're creating this space and asking about how I can create support for this, seeing where you might need support in a new goal that you're setting, I want you to really think about how is this going to create freedom for me? So I mentioned a couple things, but I invited some of the people in the class to follow this prompt. And the prompt is filling in the blank from these three sentences. And the three sentences are, I will create freedom by fill in the blank. This will give me freedom to fill in the blank. And I'll feel free from fill in the blank. So for example, let me tell you, Today, I will create freedom by planning my meals ahead of time and getting dinner into the Instant Pot in the morning. I will tell you, I did that because I had intentionally set that out. I had made the decision. Some of you are not moving forward simply because you're staying stuck in indecision. Got to make a decision. That's intentionality, okay? So this will give me freedom to pick up the kids at dinner time and have dinner waiting for us when we get home. That's freedom. There's freedom knowing that my meals are planned for me. I was sharing this future of what I was going to do, and now it's later in the week, and I know that I did this. So it did create freedom for me that all the kids had different places that they had to be, and they could just scoop dinner right out of the Instant Pot. I think I wasn't even home at dinner time. And like my older kids were able to just be like, oh, do I eat dinner? Yes, it's right there. It's ready for you. Because it was ready by 9 o'clock in the morning. I had all my meals prepped and cooked, breakfast, lunch, and dinner by 9 a.m. that day. I don't do that every day, but it felt really good to do that day. So the third sentence is, I'll feel free from worrying about how to get everyone fed, especially when my partner is out of town for work. It did. It created freedom from worry. Commitment can create freedom from anxiety. Have you ever thought about that? Okay, so some things to think about is that once you've tapped into this ability of commitment to create freedom, is to start thinking about like, what do I believe? What thoughts do I want to believe in order to support myself in whatever I'm committing to? So for me, one of my very favorite thoughts that I'll share with you is this one. And it is, I take exceptional care of my body. And I really do, because I used to not. I used to have my body was the last person that I would take care of. I made sure everybody else was taken care of in my life. My immediate family, my extended family, my friends, people from my church, everybody was taken care of at the expense of myself. And my body would say no because I was giving past the energy capacity that I had. And it made sense that I was feeling so fatigued because I was giving what I didn't have to give. And so now I have this belief that I take exceptional care of my body. And when I believe that, it helps me to stay on plan with what I'm eating and what feels really good about nourishing my body. Another one is that's the next one. I trust the timing of my life. I can't tell you how many times I've struggled with the timing of my life, whether it was applying for grad school, deciding when to have kids, having trouble getting pregnant with kids, having kids when I wasn't ready to be pregnant again. Also like the timing of, organ failure, like came right in the middle of motherhood and on the wait list. And then just so many things with health complications. When I step into this belief that I trust the timing of my life, it allows me to give up what I am thinking I control to God, letting Him direct my life, letting Him be the architect of what is for my ultimate highest good. And I would invite you for that too, to believe that there is a perfect timing in your life, and it is however it is unfolding right now, even when it doesn't make sense, even when it's hard. Yesterday, I was having such a rough day. I reached out in support to a dear, sweet friend, and I was just crying mess. Like, we all go through this, but I wanted the witness, the support that I got from that friend. So even though I was going through something hard, that still is a part of my life, and I know that I needed to go through that, okay? Third thought that I absolutely love is that sticking to my decisions gives me the gift of time. When you commit to sticking to what you've already decided and not going back on it, you will get the gift of time. You will get so much time back in your life to the point where you'd be like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this time. That's the fun part. That's where you get to create so many fun things that you thought you wouldn't be able to have in your life. It's how I'm able to create the time to carve out the time to create a business in the midst of lots of doctor's appointments and health things going on and my kids, my husband being out of town, like all of these things. I have the gift of time because I've committed to decisions that I've made. I've stuck to those decisions. And maybe not perfectly, but good enough. And as one of my favorite coaches taught me, Jody Moore, B- work gets things done. What we need to get done in our life does not require A+ effort, A+ work. That likely will contribute to your fatigue. What will move the needle forward and get you into action in the places that are aligned with you, check in with body, we don't need to overextend, is B- work. I don't know if you were like me. I got the messaging that A's were really good, and anything below an A was like you might as well just gotten an F. And chances are, I think some of you fall in that category too. But what if B- was perfect? What if that was perfect? What if it was more than enough than what you needed in order to create what it is? If you're committed to your health and improving how you feel in your body, decreasing your physical symptoms, increasing your energy, decreasing the pain that you feel, that commitment is going to lead you forward into ways to help with your healing. I would love to be a part of that healing. If those are some things that you struggle with, that you want to help to improve in this upcoming year, I'm going to invite you to join me on a call. And I can help you to learn how to live your vibrant life through coaching with me. All right, have an incredible week, and I will see you next time. Bye, everyone.